Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Magnetic. I'm your host, Harold Bell, and I'm here today with Nick Farrar, who is the CEO of Shape By, which is a creative agency in the UK. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you, Harold. Lovely to be here.
Thank you for joining us in what looks to be a lovely San Francisco, which is an anomaly for us. Usually it'd be cold right now, but because you're here visiting, we actually have some nice weather today.
It's stunning. I can't believe it. It's been a lovely couple of days so far. Yeah,
I'm glad
beautiful
you're
place.
enjoying it. So Nick, we'll cut to the chase because I know you're busy. Folks at home are busy. But for the first question, I wanted to tap into kind of your background. So I know that you trained as a furniture designer, and now you're branding billion-dollar companies. That's quite a leap.
Yeah.
So walk me through how do you make that transition and kind of what's the origin story there?
Sure. I trained in 3D design.
Right.
That was wood, metal, ceramics, and glass. Really hands-on, practical kind of degrees. So designing and making anything from kind of silversmithing, intricate jewelry to glass blowing, and then specialized in, furniture design and furniture making. And I'd always kind of had the intention after I graduated to kind of stick in that theme. I loved it. I love furniture. I love everything about it. But I couldn't seem to break into it. And I was working at a publishing company selling advertising, selling print advertising, commission only. And I kind of side-doored a route into graphic design. They were after a designer, and I applied and got the job. So I kind of got a foot in the door of kind of, traditional graphic design for the first time I'd ever done it in my life.
Yeah.
And after about 18 months, I got really close with one of the editors, and we set up an agency. It was an employee branding agency at the time. So that was kind of my working on brands for companies, but trying to get them to attract and retain talents. That was about 30 years ago. That was my first venture into kind of branding and kind of corporate design. Yeah. So two very different outputs. The output from 3D design and the output from graphic design for companies is very, very different. But the basic fundamentals about those two things is the same.
Yeah.
And it's always about kind of, form has to follow function. If you're designing a chair, in essence, who's that chair for?
Yeah.
That helps you define the other parameters around design, about what's the budget, what's the materials, what's the likely production method, all these things.
Yeah.
And those same logics apply to the design we're doing now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like the fact that you kind of started with your core competency and kind of allowed that to kind of flourish in other spaces. And I would also say that would be true with me in terms of being a creative. I didn't start as a creative. I started as a budget manager, and then kind of, then, here I am today. So it's for those of you at home who are kind of, have a creative bone in your body, or maybe you want to pivot to something else, never sell yourself short in terms of the core things that you know how to do today that can be applied to several different things.
Yeah, I think things evolve and your skill sets evolve all the time, but also what you want at a particular moment in life changes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I've been 30 years ago, I set up that first agency and stuff. And I think, not reinvent myself, but what I want and my priorities change as I grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a family, things, so that kind of security is good. Now we've got a bigger agency. My focus is much more on the team that we have around us and making sure they're done, well done by, rather than the focus on me.
Yeah.
I think that's if you look after and nurture what's close to you, then the success that should follow from your business.